It is that time of year again for the Sephora sale. This happens 2 times a year and Yo Girl participates pretty much every single time that the sale goes on. I am rouged though. I'm not really that proud to say that. And also I actually don't know how much longer I will be rouged. If you don't know, I'm sure you do. You have to spend a lot of money to be rouge, and I am not spending that much money on makeup anymore as like I used to, so I kind of think my rouge status might be going away soon. So I'm going to enjoy the 20% off while I can. If you're not rouge, if you're just insider or VIB and you get, not just, but you know what I mean, if you're insider or VIB and you get 10 to 15% off the sale, maybe skip the sale or just be a little bit more selective about what you purchase, because usually brands are having their own sales on their websites trying to compete with the Sephora sale, and a lot of times they will offer 20% off to compete with Rouge. So if you're not getting 20% off already, go ahead and check out the brand's website and see if they are having sales to compete, because I bet you they are and you can save even more money. But I am Rouge, so I do get 20% off. I'm gonna have the details of the sale down in my description box in case you are curious about it. And also, quick disclaimer, this is my recommendations video and wish list video, by the way. You probably saw that in the title, but I didn't really introduce it as that. But quick disclaimer, you don't have to buy any of these things. You do not have to buy any of these things. If you cannot afford it, if you do not want to, don't do it. And I know that that sounds like, oh, duh. Like, if I can't afford to shop the sale, don't shop the sale. But like, the pressure, especially from like social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, to have these massive hauls and buy a ton of makeup and skincare at once. The pressure is there and it's real, and you do not have to. You do not have to. Will I be participating in the sale? Yes, but that's just because I want to. You do not have to, and also you don't need any of these items that I'm going to recommend to you. Your life will go on. Your life will not end because you don't have a certain perfume or a certain blush. I cannot stand an influencer say, you need this, you need to buy this, you need this in your life, because you don't. You do not need any of it. So just quick disclaimer on that too. Just be smart about spending your money. Everything is so expensive these days and inflation is crazy. My reminder from me to you and me to me to just be smart about how you're spending your money. And just also, consumerism is just so rampant right now and it's just killing our earth. So just be smart and like maybe think through, you know, your purchases more, because that's what I've been trying to do lately. But on that note, I am going to recommend you some products tonight. Today, I'm filming this at night. That's why I said tonight, today, whatever time of day you are watching this. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and actually caring about like what I do have to recommend to you. These are products that I've been using nonstop, that almost every single time I do my makeup, which is not very often these days, like a couple times a month, I am reaching for these products. I'm using them over and over and over and over again. And that's why I want to recommend them to you guys, because I legitimately love them. So first off, bougie highlight. Bougie highlight that you don't need. I'm going to say this for every product, but I bought this at the last Sephora sale. And if you saw my Sephora sale haul try on from that last sale back in like November, I think it was, I did not love this upon first trying it. I was really underwhelmed. I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. It's the Dior Backstage Glow and Face Palette in 001 Universal. So there's just 4 highlights. They're not all, I put that in air quotes because they're not all highlights on my skin tone. We just have this like pearly one, gold, pink, and a bronzer shade. But this has been around forever. Like, this is a cult classic product that so many people love. That's been around forever and was on my wish list forever. So I finally picked it up, like I said, last sale. And I was not impressed with it. The first time I tried it on camera, I was like, what is the hype behind this highlighter? It's just a highlighter, like no big deal. Well, I'll tell you what, since then I have not put this thing down. I can recall one time since buying this that I've used a different highlighter. It is just perfection. Truly, I love it so much. I use all 4 shades. I love to mix the white and the pink, or the white and the gold together as a highlight on my cheek. I actually mixed the white and the pink today. If you can see that little bit of a pinky highlight coming through. And then I have just the white on my inner corner highlight. Sometimes I use the pink on its own as more of like a blush topper, sort of like glowy product. And then I like to use this bronzy shade as a bronzer topper after I put all my bronzer on, and I just want a little extra something, a little extra glow. I cannot put this down. As you can see, like the embossing is pretty much gone on almost all of them. Maybe not this one because I use it the least, but this is bougie. But I really think if you do splurge on it, you will like it. It looks a little glittery at first. I do want to say that, give you a little bit of a warning. However, it's nice and buildable, so you can put like a sheer-ish layer on, or you can really, really build it up and make it beaming. But my favorite thing about this is it looks like a highlight on your skin, but then when you put your setting spray on, which I always use a setting spray, if you don't, maybe keep this in mind, but when I put a setting spray on, it just melts into my skin and just makes me look like I am a glowing goddess, and I love it. I'm looking extra glowy right now because just the lights, and I did this makeup a couple hours ago, but if you can see like on my cheek here, that is all the dew or highlight, and it is just so natural and beautiful and glowy and just, oh, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I love this. I cannot put it down, truly. I'm so glad I purchased it, even though it's bougie and expensive. I love it. A product I changed my mind about. I tried this product a while ago and it was too deep of a shade for me, so I didn't end up liking it. And then I was sent these two lighter shades in PR, and I'm obsessed with these blushes. It's the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blush in the shade Provence, and I also have Southbound. Now, I do use Provence the most. It's the lightest one of the two, but today on my cheeks, I have on Southbound, and that's the only blush I have on my cheeks. I didn't top it with a powder blush at all, so all of this like corally, peachy, pinky glow you're seeing is all from these blushes. So right here we have Provence, and then we have Southbound. Provence, like I said, is just, it's the one I reach for the most. It's just the one that's the most natural on my skin. I can go hard with this blush and just put a ton on, and it never looks weird or patchy or anything. And then this one, I was pleasantly surprised when I used it today. I've used it before, but I just reached for Provence so much that I kind of forgot how much I like Southbound until I used it today, and it's just the most beautiful pink pop of color on your cheeks. I love these. They blend out like a dream. They're almost like a really thin formulation, if you can tell on my hand here. I don't want to say they blend away to nothing, because that's not true, but they are a little bit more on the sheer side, which I like, because that way they're a little more customizable. You can do a really sheer wash, or you can make them very impactful and punchy on your cheeks. These set down really nicely. They are a cream blush, but they dry down and set down without you having to set them with a powder. So if you don't set your face, you don't have to worry about them being like tacky or sticky and like your hair getting all caught in it throughout the day. But should you decide to set it down with a powder or a powder blush on top, it's locked in, not going anywhere. It just looks so beautiful all day long, doesn't fade. When I run out of these little mini sizes, I'm gonna definitely repurchase them in full sizes, because they are just beautiful on the cheeks. This is not a new product at all, so I thought about not mentioning it. However, older products need love too. I don't want to just be talking about all the new makeup. I can't really do that anyways, because I'm not trying all the new makeup these days. But our older products need some love too, so I wanted to mention it. It's the Patrick Ta 4 Face Cream and Contour Powder and Bronzer Duo, and I have the shade She's Statuesque. This is just, it's been my go-to, and I still love my NARS cream bronzer so much. That's also a recommendation, but I've talked about that so many times on my channel, I didn't want to talk about it again. And I do still like the NARS formula better, like than the cream formula on this Patrick Ta one. However, this tone right now for my fair skin is just absolutely perfection. The cream is so light, it almost sometimes doesn't even show up on me, but I don't hate that. I actually enjoy that, because then I can build it up or put a powder bronzer on top to make it pop a little bit more. It is so light, but if you're a fair girl, that's hard to find. It is hard to find a bronzer that doesn't pull too warm on me or too dark on me, and this one does not do it. It's one of the reasons why I love it so much. And then the powder, I like to just top it on top. It looks kind of orangey right there on it. Let me swatch the other one by it. It looks kind of orangey on my finger there, especially next to the cream, but I have it topped on the cream right now, and it doesn't look orangey like on your face. The cream blends in so nicely. You can't overdo it. It never gets muddy or it looks weird. And then the powder just goes over it so nicely, sets it down. Doesn't really fade. Sometimes it fades, but mainly that's because when I like touch my hair to like tuck it behind my ear or fix it, sometimes it'll fade off my forehead, but never really on my cheeks or anything. It just gives the most beautiful, like bronzy, contoury sort of look. I just have been using this nonstop. He recommends to use the powder first and then put the cream on top. And I actually do that with his blush duos, but I've never tried it with the bronzer duos. Maybe I should try that. But for me personally, I just like doing the cream and then powder, and that works out really well for me. Okay, then we have a couple concealers to talk about. Both of them are on the newer side, and I like both of them, and I recommend both of them. The first one being the Tower 28 Serum Concealer, and this I have the shade BU, or I think just Boo. Someone told me it's short for Malibu, so then in that case it would just be Boo. And then also the Laura Mercier. This is their Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer, and this I have the shade 1C1. This one was sent to me in PR, and I do have a couple other shades that work for me, but this 1C1 shade is the one I'm reaching for the most. These aren't really similar per se, but I like them both for like their different reasons. So the Tower 28 I actually have on this side of my eyes. Mind you, my concealer is looking a little rough. I'm kind of having a bad makeup day, which stinks because I haven't done my makeup in like a week, and then I did my makeup and I was like, oh, I don't think this looks very good. I think mostly it was my primer I tried, or not tried, I used, because I had tried this before, but it's the Moira Veil Touch Soft Primer I used in my last video I put up trying like a whole full face of Moira Cosmetics or Moira Beauty. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. It makes me look really, really dry. So just my whole face kind of looks dry right now. And this isn't going to give the concealers much justice, but I'm going to talk about them anyways. So the Tower 28 I have on this side of my face, and then like down here to spot conceal. This is a little bit on the thicker side, and it is more serum-y and more glowy, and it is going to provide you a little bit more coverage. And then the Laura Mercier I have on this side of my eyes. So if you can see, to me in person and on like my phone right now that I'm looking at, I can see that this is showing a little bit more blue. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's not how it's coming across to you, but to me in real life, that is what I am seeing. So I do think the Tower 28 will show, will provide a little bit extra coverage. However, the Laura Mercier is still really beautiful. It's a lot thinner of a formula, less serum-y. It's not going to have as much glow. Maybe right now it's looking the same because they're both wet, but once you like blend them in, it's not going to provide as much glow to your under eye, less coverage, but they both set down really, really nicely with powder. I have to set my concealers down. They both are going to crease on under eye creases if you have them. So if you're looking for something creaseless, I don't think that will ever happen. If you have creases in your eyes, you know, things are going to crease. But yeah, I wanted to talk about both of them because they're both newer and I like them both. They're just a little bit different. So a little bit thicker, stickier, tackier, going to provide more coverage, thinner, less coverage, but neither are drying or anything like that. Both set down really nicely with powder. It's just kind of what your preference is, or maybe a range that has a better shade match for you. But I've been kind of interchanging both of these when I do my makeup, just kind of whichever one I'm in the mood for. I do reach for the Tower 28 more. If I had to pick one, I would pick the Tower 28, but I do still really enjoy both. Also, speaking of Moira Beauty, if you are wondering what's on my eyes, I have like this really super sparkly, pretty eyeshadow. It's from Moira. It's their Lucent Cream Shadow in the shade O2 Infinity. When I first swatched this in that last video, I didn't use it, but I swatched it in there. It looked like it was gonna have way more of a pigmented base to it. And then when I applied it to my eyes today, there's really not a base at all. It's just basically sparkle on your eyes. It's beautiful. It's just not really what I was expecting. So if you're looking for something super like wet looking, super sparkly and shiny like this is definitely a good option. Very similar to ColourPop Super Shocks though. So you could probably find one like that too, but this is affordable. But I just wanted to throw it out there in case you were curious about what is on my eyes, because they're gleaming, like they're shiny. They kind of look wet, which I like. I think it's really pretty. It's just no, I was expecting it to have more of a base. All right, the next product I'm pretty sure blew up on TikTok, so you guys have probably heard about it, but the Glossier You perfume. This just smells so good. I really recommend it just because it's something almost unique and different. And it has a little bit of a spicy note, a spicy undertone to it. And I usually do not like perfumes that are spicy per se. This is probably the only one I've ever smelled that I actually really, really like. The spice doesn't like turn me off or anything. It's still sweet and feminine, but a little bit on the masculine side because it has that spiciness like I was saying. But when you put it on your skin, I think this is one of those that each person it's gonna smell different on. I know a lot of perfumes are like that because it just kind of depends on how it vibes with you and your natural scent and your skin and all that. But this is one that I really do think takes on a whole new scent depending on the person it's on. But the scent that it makes on me, I actually really enjoy. It lasts for a pretty long time, not all day personally, like I have to reapply it, but I also have the roller ball that I just keep in my purse. Maybe go for the rollerball or smell it in person before you buy it, because it is such a unique scent. I wouldn't want you to like spend the 60 something dollars on the full size and then not end up liking it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know, just really, really yummy and definitely unique. This is probably one of the only scents in my perfume collection that I have that's like this. So even if you don't want to buy it, give it a smell in person if you are shopping in a Sephora that has it, because it is so unique and I want everyone to smell it because it smells yummy, in my humble opinion, but you know, to each their own. Okay, and the last product I have to recommend to you, I actually don't have it anymore. I used it all up, but it's a Summer Fridays sunscreen. I purchased this because Babs Beauty was talking about it a while ago, saying it was a really lovely sunscreen and she really enjoyed it. And I completely agree with her. It is a very thin formula, almost runny when you pour it out on your hands. So if you don't like a really thin sunscreen like that, maybe don't try this one, but it just like melts into your skin so nicely and it gives your skin a glow without being oily or greasy, which I think is really, really hard to find. It's also not drying. It doesn't suck the life out of your skin. It looks pretty by itself if you don't apply makeup, but it also works really well under makeup. I bought one, completely used it up, and I think I might repurchase one during the sale because it is that good. So that was all my recommendations. Let me know if you've tried any of these and you agree with me, you love them as much as I do. But let's move on to my wish list item, the couple of items that I have in my cart right now that I might be purchasing. Speaking of sunscreen, Supergoop recently launched their new tinted sunscreen. I think I want to try this because the combination of my Bliss Blockstar sunscreen and the glow screen from Supergoop, that combination is just perfection to me. The Bliss provides me a little bit of coverage, a little bit of skin evening, but it's a really matte sunscreen, not really drying per se, just matte. So then the glow screen comes in and adds a little bit of healthy glow to my skin, and those two just look so good. But I want that with a smidge more coverage on my face. I did go ahead and try the Tower 28 Serum Tinted Concealer. I don't like it. It's way too oily for me. It never dries down, never sets down. It makes me look more oily than I do right now. And I feel like right now I'm looking very oily. I probably should have powdered before I went ahead and filmed, but it's fine. You guys don't care. So that one was a no-go for me. So this new tinted sunscreen looks promising. I'm going to try to swatch it in person to see how it like blends out on my hand. And also I don't really know if I should get the lightest shade or the second lightest shade. So I know it's a brand new product, but if you tried it, please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments so I can kind of like gauge your guys' interest on it. But I think I would really want to try that. And then I have a couple Patrick Ta products on my wish list just because he's one of my favorite brands. I have pretty much liked almost everything from him, minus his mascara. I didn't really like that. Even the brow gel. I actually didn't really love the brow gel either. It was a little too goopy for me. But everything else from him I have genuinely really loved. So he released new blush shades. His blush duos are perfection. I have 3 of them, and I want to buy 1, maybe 2 more. I know that's silly. I don't need that many more blushes, but the one I really have my eye on is the shade Not Too Much. That's like the more like rosy, everyday sort of tone, which is just the type of makeup I'm going for these days. Just subdue, kind of like this, like not too crazy, not too bold, intense, just really subdue and more natural per se. And that looks like the shade for me. It's currently sold out online, and it's also sold out in my store that I normally shop at. So that kind of stings. I was really hoping I could see it in person. But if not, if it comes back during the sale, I'm definitely going to snag that because it looks so beautiful and I already know I love that formulation. And then also he released his Major Plumping glosses, but in more of like a tinted version. The ones he has now are sheer, and I have 2 of them. I don't really use one of them, but the more, this one right here, actually I have it right here, the more like jelly sheer one, this is in the shade Full Syringe. It doesn't look like I've used that much, but I use this all the time. It is stunning on the lips. Actually, let me go ahead and just, my lip product I'm using is faded a little bit, so let me go ahead and just apply some right now. It just gives your lips the most juicy, full, shiny, beautiful look to them. It is plumping, but it's a like cinnamony kind of minty sort of plum. It doesn't hurt your lips at all. I'm a baby when it comes to plumping things, and this does not hurt. So I love this shade so much. I use it so much. So when he released more tinted ones that actually have some color to them, I was like, oh yes, please, definitely interested. The one I'm really thinking about picking up is the shade Need Her. It just looks like the most beautiful, like rosy, pinky, everyday shade that would go with like every makeup look that I've ever made. So definitely have my eye on those. Okay, this is another one that if you've tried this, I really, really, really need you to let me know in the comments because it is bougie and it's expensive and it is unnecessary. But it's the Givenchy Prisme Libre Loose Powder. This is a $60 loose powder. Ridiculous. Obviously, I would get the 20% off, so it would not actually be $60, but I have heard that this powder is the most perfecting, like blurring, beautiful powder that's not too thick and cakey, not too drying. It just seems like the type of powder that I need in my life. My face cannot handle powder like it used to. I used to be able to just like pack on the powder and bake and everything was fine, and now my skin is just way too dry. I cannot do that. The Hourglass Veil Loose Setting Powder is some of my favorites. That's what I have on my face today, and also the Ami Collet Loose Powder. Those two are just top notch. They are just beautiful and set my face down without being drying. But this one also is supposed to be really blurring, which the Ami Collet one is blurring too, but this one's supposed to be like more blurring than that, question mark, I think. So I really, really don't know if I'm gonna purchase it. It's so unnecessary. I do not need a $60 powder, but I really, 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 really think I want to try it. I know they have minis, but I don't know if they have a mini in the color or shade that I want because it comes in a couple different variations. So maybe I should check that out because if they have a mini, I could try that out, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know if you've tried this because it's bougie and I don't have any business spending $60 on a powder, but I will. Then I have 3 complexion products on this wish list. I don't need more complexion products. And honestly, here's my thing. My skin has been so finicky lately. Anytime I use something besides the like 2 or 3 foundations that I love with my whole heart right now, anytime I deviate from that, my skin looks terrible. Like today, I tried one that I haven't used in a while, and my skin, you probably can't tell, it looks so dry and flaky if I get up close, and it just is like breaking up, and it's only been on a couple hours, and it's like, why? Why do I deviate from the couple that I love so much that I know every time I use them, my makeup is gonna look bomb.com. And then I just have this incessant need in me to try new things. Like I still want to try new things. So I don't know if I'm going to buy any of them is my point of that rant. But the first one is the Dior Face and Body. Another product that from Dior that's been around forever. That's kind of a cult classic. I think they reformulated it recently-ish, like in the last year or so. They've reformulated like most of their foundations. So I didn't try the original version, but a lot of people love it. And I want a more tinted skin-like lighter version sort of product to use, not necessarily on the daily basis, but just to use. So I've had my eye on that, but also in that same like kind of vein, the Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint, I've heard really good things about. That's been around forever. Well, so is the Face and Body. Neither of them are new. But I have just heard really, really good things about that Beauty Blender Skin Tint, that it just is really pretty on the skin or super natural. Isn't like oily or greasy or cakey. It looks like your skin, but better. But also the main person that I've heard talk positively about it is Kathleen Lights. I've heard a couple other people, but she's like the main one who loves it. And her skin is literal perfection. Like she has nothing to cover up. She's got no redness, no acne spots, no acne, no like dark, like her skin is perfection. So I'm like, I do have things to cover up. So I'm like, if Kathleen Lights likes it so much, like awesome, that's good for her, but her skin's perfect. So like, will I like it that much? You know what I mean? And then the last one I have is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydro Glow Foundation. This is the new one they launched. I have the HD Skin, just one they launched a couple years ago. I like it. I have it in the lightest shade and it's too light for me to use on my own. So I have to mix it in with other foundations, which I don't mind doing. I actually love mixing foundations. That doesn't bother me. So because I like the original version, it makes me want to try the Hydro Glow version, but I don't know what shade to get because the lightest one is too light for me. And then the next one down is still a little bit too deep. I'd rather err on the deeper side and be able to lighten it with like concealer and stuff. Because when something's too light on me, I like immediately do not like it. So I don't know exactly like what shade to get. And also, will it be too glowy on me? Like my skin is getting drier, but I still get oily. Like if I have to wear my makeup for a long time and my skin can't hold powder like it used to be able to, like I said. So I'm like, if it's too oily and then I can't powder it like I want to, you know what I mean? Will it look good on my skin? So I might pick up a mini and test it out, or I might not because like I don't need it. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, that's just on my wish list, and that's what I'm telling you about, my wish list, my items that I like have my eye on. And then I think the last one, oh no, 2 more. The other one, the other blush I had on my list is the new Rare Beauty Luminous Powder Blushes. They just look pretty. Actually, I was about to say I tend to like a lot of things from Rare Beauty, but that is not true. That's not true. I actually didn't like their foundation, didn't like their concealer. I like their liquid blush that I bought in the last sale, but I don't love it. It's not like a favorite. I like their lip products, but I haven't tried a ton of them. Like I haven't tried their lip sticks or their lip liners. Anyway, so like I don't really tend to like Rare Beauty / haven't really tried a lot from the brand. And I'm a little afraid that these will be too glowy, you know? I watched Bab's beauty review on them and she said that there was like chunks of glitter almost. I don't love that. So this is another one that I think I'm gonna try to swatch in person and see if I like it in person. And if I do, I will probably pick it up because I'm here for a glowy blush. I'm here for glowy makeup. And then the last product I have on my wish list is the Day Dry Shampoo. I think this is a new launch from them. It's one that you like fluff out instead of the aerosol can. I fly through dry shampoo. So part of me is hesitant to spend $30 on dry shampoo. Again, I'll get the 20% off, but I'm hesitant to spend that much because I do use a lot of dry shampoo. I go through it very quickly, but I'm thinking if it's not an aerosol, I'll use less of it maybe? I don't know. So that's another one that I haven't fully decided if I'm going to pick it up or not. But that is it, you guys. That is all my recommendations, products that I think you should check out if you are in the need for them. And then also my wish list items, the items I have my eye on. Let me know down below if you've tried any of them, my recommendations or my wish list. Your thoughts on them. Are you shopping the sale or are you going to sit this one out? If you're sitting it out, I totally understand. I'm not going to buy everything on my wish list. I don't plan on going crazy and spending a ton of money, but I will do a haul video when I do get my orders in and go in person and all that. And then if there's enough makeup to try on, I'll do a try on. If there's enough, I don't know. I don't know if there will be. But if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not yet. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.